So you just got a job. Congratulations. Now you're in the onboarding process. So how the heck do we fill out these tax forms? This form here, Form W-4, this determines how much taxes will be withheld from each check. So it's important that you fill it out accurately, but it doesn't have to be difficult. Today, I'm going to show you 4 common scenarios and straightforward ways on how to fill this thing out. We're going to try to block out all the extra noise that this form comes with. All right, so here we go. First off, this form has 5 sections. First section is your personal information, first and last name, social, address, filing status. The second section, you fill this part out if you have 2 or more jobs, or if your spouse also has a job. You'll fill this piece out here. Section 3, this is where you put your dependents. You put your kids here on this line, and then any other dependents here on this line, if you're claiming aunts, uncles, parents, things like that. And then this section 4 here, this is optional section. This is if you want any extra withholdings, or if you plan to itemize, which we'll talk about in a minute, you'd put that amount here under next to deductions. And then section 5, you just sign and date it. That's it. All right, so our first scenario, let's fill this thing out as if we're single and we're going exempt. Exempt means that you're not going to have any you're not going to have any taxes withheld. You're pretty much telling the IRS that you're exempt from paying taxes for whatever reason. This would be how you fill it out. First, we'll put in our first and last name. Put in our social. Our address. And our filing status. Our filing status is single. And then we'll come down here. And under box 4C, you write exempt right here. And then you sign and date it. That's it. That's all you want to do if you want to file single exempt. Next one, if we want to file single 0. So we're filing our tax return as single and we're claiming 0 dependents, meaning that they're going to withhold the most amount of taxes according to your tax rate. Okay. So same deal. You're going to fill out the section 1, mark single as your filing status, and then you'll come under here under section 3 and put 0 for dependents. Put a 0 there, and then sign and date it. The end. That's it. That's how you fill out a Form W-4 if you want to file as single 0. The next scenario is if you want to file head of household, and let's say you have 2 jobs and 3 kids. What does that look like? So same thing, you'll fill out the top section and then you'll choose this bottom box here, head of household. We'll mark that. And then we'll come over here to this section. So the whole reason for this section is they want to make sure you're being taxed accurately. So if you have multiple jobs, if you think about it, in regards to taxes, these jobs don't know about each other. So say you have a $10,000 job and a $30,000 job, right? The $10,000 job, they don't know about the $30,000 job. They think that you're only reporting $10,000, so they're taxing you less. But when you go and file your taxes and you're reporting $40,000, and you come to find out that you didn't have enough taxes withheld, then you're going to be paying that tax liability out of pocket or even from your credits. All right. So when you fill this piece out here, this tells the national payroll system how many sources of income you have, and it'll tax you accurately. You got it? So there's 3 ways to fill out this section. The first one is there's an IRS calculator online, and you can figure the difference there. The second one is there's a worksheet down below, which we're going to fill out here in a minute. And then the third one is if each job is similar pay, say you have 2 jobs and you make about 20 grand at each job, then you go ahead and mark this box over here. And that takes care of everything. But if you have one higher paying job and one lower paying job, then we need to figure out the difference in that. So say you have one job that you make, well, let's use our example. One job we make 30 grand, and then another job we make 10 grand. So we'll go down here to this worksheet. And we'll see under here, under the head of household section, on the left side, we'll look for the higher paying job first. So in these rows, we'll look for the 30 grand, which is right here. And then we'll match that up with a $10,000 column, which is right here. So these two meet at 30,000 and the 10,000 meet right here, 2,220. So we'll take that number and we'll put it right here under number 1 of the multiple jobs worksheet, where it says 2 jobs, 2,220. Now we're going to skip number 2 for this video. This is if you have 3 jobs. It's pretty much the same process. You just go through and fill these out. But we're going to skip that for now. We'll come down here to number 3. It says enter the number of pay periods per year for the highest paying job. For example, if that job pays weekly, then enter 52. So there's 52 weeks in a year. If it pays bi-weekly, enter 26. Or if you get paid monthly, enter 12. So we'll go with the most common, which is bi-weekly. We'll put 26. And then just below that, number 4 says divide the annual amount on line 1 by the number of pay periods on line 3. Enter this amount here and in step 4C. Okay, so we're going to divide 2,220 divided by 26. That comes out to 85 and some change. So we'll take that 85, put it there, and then we'll bring it back up here to line 4C, 85. So for each pay period, they're going to take out an extra 85 bucks. That's going to offset your total tax liability. Had you not have done that, then this 85 bucks per pay period would have added up over time. And when you go and file your tax return, it's going to come up that you've been underpaying by 85 bucks and you're going to owe that. And if you don't have any credits, then that's going to come out of pocket. All right. And then we're going to go back into section 3. We said we had 3 kids. Yeah, so section 3, we'll put our kids. This first line here, this is where you put your kids at, your qualifying children. And then this second line here, this is where you put your other dependents, aunts, uncles, parents, grandparents, things like that. So multiply the number of qualifying children by 2,000. So we have 3 kids, 2,000, 4,000, 6,000. We'll put 6,000 here. We're not going to claim anybody else this year, so we'll put 0 there, and we'll total out the amount, which is 6,000. Now, I don't expect to have any other sources of income like interest or dividends or retirement or anything like that, so we'll just go ahead and put 0 here. And I don't own a home or anything like that. I'm not itemizing this year, so I'm just going to take the standard deduction, so I don't need to worry about this piece either. I'll just put 0 there. And that's it. Then you go ahead and sign and date it. And that's how you fill out a W-4 if you're filing head of household with multiple jobs, and if you have 2 or 3 or 4 kids or whatever the case may be. This is how you fill it out. All right, and for our last scenario, let me just delete this real quick. Last scenario is pretty similar. Same thing, you'll fill out this top piece and then you'll choose married, filing joint. Our last scenario is if you're filing joint return, you have a job, your spouse has a job, you have 2 kids, and you're claiming one of your parents. So you fill out this top piece, you'll mark married, filing joint, you'll come down here to this section, and it's the same thing. If you and your spouse make around the same amount, I'd say within about $5,000 of each other, then go ahead and mark this box here. And that'll take care of everything. But again, if one of you has a higher paying job and another one has a lower paying job, then we need to figure out that difference. And so we'll bring it down here to the worksheet and we'll look for married, filing joint. Okay, so let's say one of you makes 60 grand and the other makes 40 grand. So we'll do the higher paying job first. So we'll look for the 60 grand in the rows. Here goes the 60 grand row, and we'll pull that over until we get to the 40 grand column, which is right here. So that number is 4,570. So we'll take that up here to the top of the worksheet, underline 1, 4,570. Again, we're skipping section 2. This is a 3-job section. We're not going to worry about that today. Back down here, the number of pay periods, we'll go with the most common, which is 26. And then we'll divide that. 4,570 divided by 26. It's 175. So we'll put 175 right there, and then we'll bring it back up here to line 4C, 175. So extra withholding. So for each pay period, you're gonna get an extra $175 withheld. That's gonna offset your tax withholdings. And then we'll come back in section 3 and put in our dependents. So we have 2 kids, $2,000 per kid. That's 2,000, 4,000. So we'll put 4,000 here. And then I'm gonna claim one of my parents. I've been paying their medical bills all year. I've been taking care of them. So I'm gonna put them on my tax return. That's a $500 credit for other dependents. So we'll put that there. And then we'll add them up, 4,500. Next, I project that I'm gonna take out from my retirement this year, but I know I don't have any federal withholdings on it. So I'll go ahead and put that amount here. I expect to take out about $5,000. So what's most common, you want to have about 10% withheld. So 10% of 5,000 is 500. So we'll put that here. So this section here is if you have any other sources of income that don't have withholdings on them, you'll want to put a percentage of that here. So for this example, we're pulling out 5,000 from our retirement. We'll withhold 10%. That's $500 right there. And for simplicity purposes, we're not going to itemize. I don't have any mortgage interest or any property taxes or anything like that. So we'll go ahead and just put 0 there. Okay. And then you sign and date it. And that's it. That's how you fill out the W-4. If you're married, filing joint, you and your spouse have a job and you have, 2 or 3 dependents or whatnot. So this standard deduction, this deduction piece is not going to be as popular as it used to be because a lot of people don't itemize anymore since the standard deduction rates are so high now. So for tax year 2020, if you're filing single, the standard deduction is $12,400. If you're filing head of household, it's $18,650. If you're filing married, filing joint, it's $24,800. So what that means is you can't even write off personal expenses until they exceed that amount. So if you're married filing joint and you have $24,900 in personal expenses would be medical and dental bills, mortgage interest, property taxes, any other personal property taxes, things like that. You can't even start writing that stuff off until it's after $24,800. So if you have $24,900 in personal expenses, you're only writing off $100 of that onto your tax return. So not a lot of people are itemizing anymore. Okay. If you are, and you would like to know more in depth how to do this, feel free to leave me a comment or a message or something like that, and we can get a little bit more in depth. But for the purposes of this video, I just want to keep it short and sweet for you. Hopefully it's something that you can refer to in the future if you need it. Other than that, that's pretty much all I have for you right now. Okay, I hope you guys have a great day. And remember, every day counts. All right, see you at the top.